Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be taking a first look at Mythic Konrad, who is going to be the character reward in the premium event The Walker Watch. We can see visually on the right hand side he is holding quite a hefty shotgun. I like the stance there where he's got it pointing like that. I do kind of like that. He's pretty much got a bat belt everywhere. He's definitely got utility. And he's very, very geared up. He's kind of reminds me of all the other Konrads we've seen. He is another police officer, as we can see on the left-hand side. He's got the police car there. And I think it was double shotgun Konrad in the 6-star era. Also had like the police outfit on as well. So he's kind of keeping it in line with what we've seen in the past. As we see is his stats as a maxed out grade 5 limit break 1 character, level 640. He has got 15,491 attack, 13,278 defense, and 15,491 HP. He is a tough character, considered a support character, mythic character of course, and he is a part of the Brutes Allegiance. And I don't believe we've got a full 5-person roster for the Brutes just yet, so Konrad is going to be joining the ranks of, I believe, characters like Dexter. I'm not actually sure who else is a Brute. If you do know, let me know in the comments down below. But we'll get on to Konrad's kit, and his adrenaline rush is called Charge. Okay, it has a recharge rate of 66 AP. It deals 500 damage to one enemy. Up to 2 damage roll teammates recover from attack down. Up to 2 damage roll teammates get Guardian Shield. So the 500% damage is just a bit of damage. I think it's meant to just be something to actually do, so that if he is like the last one alive, he could potentially still get things done. But he's mainly there to recover the massive amount of attack down that you've seen around. And if that lands on one of your key damage dealers, then you're in a lot of problems. You know, if you've got Michonne on an attack team and she's got any sort of attack down, she's going to have a drastic reduction in the amount of damage output that she can have. And this is targeting her. Anyone with the damage roll, those characters are going to be the ones that get the attack down removed. And you can see the second part, there is a gap in the how this is written up. So the second part should give the Guardian Shields to 2 other damage dealers who are the lower HP. So if you, let's say you had 3 damage dealers, 2 random characters would have attack down removed from them if all 3 of them had it, and then the 2 lowest HP characters should get the Guardian Shield. Okay, so it's time for me to rush with Konrad, and as you can see, I have got 3 damage roll characters. I have got Rosita, Ash, and Michonne. Now, out of the HPs, you can see Rosita has the lowest, then Ash, and then Michonne. The 2 characters that should get the Guardian Shields are Ash and Rosita, and then Michonne will hopefully be one of the characters that gets the attack down removed, just to show that it isn't always going to go to the characters that get the Guardian Shields. And you're going to see the rush come out. Konrad's going to take out Elodie, and Michonne has had the attack down removed along with Ash. You can see that Rosita still has the attack down, and she had the lowest HP. So the attack down removal is completely random, but the Guardian Shields are not. They'll always go to the people with the lowest HP in number, not percentage, in number. So obviously I would see this rush as more of an opening rush, because you'd attack with this guy first on the rushes, and then your damage dealers, of which you normally have at least 2 and most likely around 2, would have their attack down cleansed. But not only that, depending on who those damage dealers are, if you've got a multi-hit character, they get a Guardian Shield, and that means no reflect, no bide, you know, nothing like that. So it's actually pretty decent for the characters that are going to be doing the damage. We can see on the upgrades itself, you can see at grade 2 it goes from 200% to 400%. At grade 4, 2 damage roll teammates get a Guardian Shield. These are the 2 easy ones to get. Now, limit break 1 is a bit harder, but you only get a 100% damage boost, which is actually quite a nice boost, but it isn't too significant if you don't get the character to limit break. A lot of the utility of this character is in the support side of it. He is a support character, it does make sense. While the damage is decent, and the fact that he is going to be a leader because he has got a leader skill, he could potentially have 100k attack stat, which is going to be massive. If you've got him surrounded by a lot of 1535 weapons, that damage isn't going to be too bad. So the difference between 400 and 500% damage as the leader surrounded by those characters isn't going to be as bad. The biggest part of it is the Guardian Shields and the attack down recover. Now, Konrad, of course, has a signature move, and it is called Stupefy. It has got an initial cooldown of turn 2, cooldown of 4 turns, number of uses unlimited. Attack an enemy for 150% damage. Remove all positive effects from that enemy. So again, kind of makes me feel like he's going to be an entry on that turn as well, in terms of like any buffs being on a character on turn 2. He can completely just nullify everything, all the defense boosts. This is going to be good against characters who have aggro throughout the fight. If you've ever got to a long standing fight, maybe turn 4 or 5, and you've not touched the aggro character, they have 100k plus on these positive effects, and you're just going to remove them with the signature move. Very nice. The only downside here is the cooldown is quite high. However, when I come to the skill upgrades, I'll show you what the limit break 2 is. Okay, so I've let this go on a little bit, where we can see the aggro's built up on Zachary here, and he has got a 60% attack buff and a 60% defense buff. This will happen on any aggro character or any sort of buff that comes out. You'll have a speech bubble like this giving that character a buff. Aggro is something that just never goes away. Even if you attack them this turn and they don't get the proc happen, they still get the 60% that just remains. Even if you stun them, impair them, it isn't like on a roll where you can break it like a point. It's always going to remain. It can only just steadily get higher and higher and higher. If I use the signature move of Konrad, you'll see I can just remove those buffs. It's just a full enemy cleanse of any positive effects. And this is where I could follow up with the big hits, and 60% less defense is a big debuff effectively. So again, it seems that Konrad is just that character to lead the charge on turn 2, just completely remove the buffs off a character and allow his teammates to just come in with the damage on anyone who had a defense buff, that sort of thing. And if you, let's say if you come up against Uncle Sam, he's gonna have a defense buff on turn 2 if he shields. He can remove the defense buff from when he's shielding. He cannot remove the fact that he's shielding, but he can remove the defense buff, and that way any follow-up damage would be obviously increased. Now, I know a lot of people will probably see this and say this just isn't that great, but he is a support character. This is his role, and this is something that no one else is doing. I do see this as heavily anti-aggro for those long, drawn-out fights. Aggro can be ridiculous longer the fight goes on, and Konrad's going to be the perfect guy to deal with this. Now, if we look at the upgrades, it does get a starting cooldown reduction from turn 3 to turn 2 at upgrade 3, and an upgrade 5 it gets a 50% damage boost, and it goes from 100% to 150%. However, at limit break 2, as you can see in this screenshot, the cooldown goes from 4 turns to 2 turns, and this is where it's going to be a lot more useful. It'll be basic attack turn 1, you'll do this signature move turn 2, rush turn 3, signature move turn 4. So you're going to be removing debuffs quite a lot. This will also remove things like heal over time. So if anyone gets like a big, heavy heal over time, or they get revived and then the heal over time goes on them, you can just remove that and that won't be a problem. It would also remove, I believe, any characters that can get a halo buff. For instance, if they get a halo buff where if they're taken out they're in halo, then it can remove it. The only character that can't do that on would be someone like Dr. Stevens, because his halo buff comes when he's actually taken down, because it's part of his specialist skill, not a passive, not a signature move, not a rush. So Konrad has some very specific usages right now, and any character that comes out in the future that has any sort of positive buff, Konrad is there to deal with it. Now, Konrad does have those mythic abilities, these passives, of course, because he's a mythic character, that's how it works. He is a support character, so he gets cunning, one of the most annoying, honestly, where he has 30% less chance to trigger enemy weapon effects. This is on defense, this is on attack. Very useful indeed, and that means he's less likely to get like impair on defense and stuff like that. It is a flat reduction too, so let's say a better chance has like a 35% chance to actually proc. He would reduce it by 30% flat, so it would go down to like 5% chance, not a 30% reduction of the percentage. It's a flat reduction. It's kind of nuts. The next one is called Bring It On. When attacking while having a taunt status, he gets 100% attack. Now this should stack, I would assume, with mods where you can have attack while taunted. So potentially if he does get taunted, he's going to absolutely blow up someone with just a basic attack. And if he's got a rampage weapon or a double attack weapon, that would obviously take into effect this debuff as well. Now there are a couple of taunt characters in the game right now, but we are shifting through metas consistently, and no doubt the taunt meta will come in at some point. So Konrad could be ahead of his time when it comes to this sort of boost. Next up, we have Intimidating Resolve. When this character starts their turn one enemy with the tank role gets minus 40% defense for 1 turn. This, of course, is just huge. It does kind of, as it's random, it dictates which character you're going to be focusing the next turn with your damage dealers. And it's very similar to Rosita's rush debuff. She does minus 40% defense on her rush. This is minus 40% defense to tanks on his passive. It's a guarantee, as long as there's a tank, someone's getting the minus 40% defense. And tanks, of course, are the guys who have got the most defense. So it's going to be the most annoying. It's kind of like the same way the characters that target damage roll characters and do attack down. Very frustrating to have to deal with this. Lastly, it's going to be the bigger they are. When rushing an enemy that has bonus HP, he gets 30% attack. This isn't actually too bad. I think this is actually pretty decent. It would effectively make his rush go from 500% to 650%. So it is definitely worth focusing those characters that have even the slightest bit of bonus HP. Now the great thing about his passives is you can see that off of turn 1, tanks on the defense team get the defense down. Now Rick, for people who have him, who will use him, this is very important. If he is the only tank on a defense team, he is going to have 40% less defense, which is actually really important against someone like Rick, who can be made extremely tanky. That means I can focus him off of turn 1 if I so please, or when I come to rush, or when I come to do anything, if he's the only tank, I know he's going to have 40% defense down, as long as Konrad's still alive. Now I'm going to build up some AP, just to get some goodies. And we are going to be able to get the natural rush for Konrad's, which is great. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus Elodie up the top here. And it's because we rushed her before, so you can sort of see the damage difference. But she has bonus HP now, and you should see the green buff, you know, the text just saying that he's going to get a 30% attack increase because she has bonus HP. And he did have it come up. The damage is going to come in, and he hits her just flat rate for 21,000, which was definitely an improvement over what it was before. Now when he's fully maxed out and geared out, he could rush a tank who's got a little bit of bonus HP, and they're going to have the minus 40% defense potentially. And obviously that's all going to stack up. He's going to be getting an attack boost because they've got a bonus HP, and they're going to be getting a defense down because they're a tank. The combo there could be really good. And it is worth noting, of course, that defense down is going to be effective for everyone on your team. Whoever attacks that tank is always going to get the bonus because of the defense down. They just won't get the bonus because of Konrad's other passive, which only buffs Konrad based on the bonus HP. If we look at the upgrades on his passives, you can see that Bring It On is at grade 1, and that is the 100% attack while taunted. Cunning at grade 2, Intimidating Resolve Part 1 at grade 3, and that gives minus 20% defense for 1 turn, and then Intimidating Resolve 2 gives another 20% defense down for 1 turn, and they stack together. That one's at grade 4. At grade 5 is the bigger they are, and that's the 30% attack boost when he's rushing people with bonus HP. And then lastly on this list, you can see that at Limit Break 1, Cunning 2 is there, which stacks of course with Cunning 1. Now we do have the information that he does get a Limit Break 2 buff, and it does buff the damage while taunted from 100% up to a grand total of 150%. Now last and by no means least, Konrad does have a leader skill, and it is all teammates get 30% attack and up to 3 teammates get Guardian Shield at the start of each wave. Now the 30% attack is nice. That's the high end of the attack boost that we're seeing from attack leaders. I think only Ico has up that, like, anywhere near that high. And the 3 teammates getting Guardian Shield at the start of each wave means at the beginning of a raid fight, 3 characters will have Guardian Shield, and it should go to all the characters that are the lowest HP. I'm not sure if a Guardian Specialist skill can still hit the Guardian on the first turn, or if these Guardian Shields count as if they are coming from a Guardian Shield source. As you know, if you've ever played with Ezekiel on an attack team, which is very rare, but on like conquest stages, if you hit a Mirabelle crit on a character and give 2 Guardian Shields to teammates, and then use Ezekiel's signature move, 4 Guardian Shields would appear. However, if you do it the other way around, where Ezekiel does his signature move for 2 Guardian Shields to appear, and then you crit with Mirabelle, no more will. So there is potential that you won't be able to do Guardian Shields the first turn, But this is a guarantee of a Guardian Shield proccing effectively from a specialist plus one more. So you're always going to get more than you potentially could get otherwise. And then if you do take someone who does Guardian on their specialist skill, like Michonne 2000, those Guardian Shields will just keep stacking up, as you know. Okay, so as you can see at the beginning of a raid, 3 of my characters have got Guardian Shields. Michonne 2000 being a damage roll character has quite low HP, so it's generally always going to go to her if she's in your team. Skins as well has got fairly low HP because he has got a bit of damage on his kit. Rosita is a damage dealer who has actually pretty decent HP, but she's generally going to have it as well. And Konrad is a support character, kind of balanced there. And then obviously the tank that is Rick is never going to get that Guardian Shield, unfortunately for him. But he doesn't need it because he's a tank. So it kind of goes to the people who need it the most. And that is your damage dealers the majority of the time. Now, I'm going to try and hit a crit here with Michonne to see if I hit a crit, will I give out another Guardian Shield? No. So the first turn, it will not do another Guardian Shield. We're just going to take out this character because I know what's coming next. Command from Rick, sneaky guy. And then the next turn, I'll try and hit a crit this time around. Let's see. And we'll see what happens. The Guardian Shields come the next turn, but you can see on turn 2, I've got 4 Guardian Shields where we had 1 Guardian Shield already removed. So I'm obviously ahead of the game here at this point. If I was to rush, you know, command rush Michonne in this situation, and they had, let's say, a governor on the defense team, I could destroy him, and I've got 4 Guardian Shields up. Much heavier survivability, and if you know what it's like right now when it comes to these defense teams, it's so hard to survive because there's so much damage output on these defense teams. Bide, Governor himself. Guardian Shields are going to help with keeping you alive at the end of a fight and coming out of it with as many characters alive to score as much as possible in those war attacks. So I think this leader skill is actually not too bad at all. It's actually going to be quite useful right now as I see the fights going, as survivability is obviously quite a big issue. But regardless, even if you're not really interested in the 3 Guardian Shields, you can sort of just treat that as a bonus. The 30% attack itself is already great. And I much prefer, personally, my leaders being support characters over damage dealers, so they have a bit of utility. I can use them in different ways. And Konrad, like I said, is that person who punches through first, weakens characters, you know, removes debuffs from your own team. And the fact that he's a leader, he's going to slot into a team and get a massive attack boost on top of that. And that rush is going to be doing extra damage when he's got those 1535s around him. Now, Konrad, of course, has an attached weapon, and as you can see, it's Konrad's Violent Shotgun. It does look really nice in the first art, but it looks really great on that left-hand side, and hopefully it looks like that once you fully upgrade it. On the right-hand side, we can see that it hasn't got the greatest of upgrades on it, though. 25% attack, a medium bonus to AP when attacking, and attack down when attacking, a better chance to cause minus 40% attack for 3 turns to the enemy. I did 5-star this weapon myself, so I could actually put a weapon into his hands to use him, just to show you for example, but it does start off being a 4-star weapon, and most likely you're going to do the same as what I've done, which is just 5-star it and put a weapon in his hands that is actually useful. So this was Mythic Konrad, and like I said in the intro, he is going to be the character reward in the premium event, the Walker Watch. If you want to get your hands on this character, do make sure you check out that event on the blog to get your full information on what you have to do to get him. As a leader, I actually think he's pretty decent. I would most likely use him myself, especially against these tanky defense teams. Currently, I do run Negan quite heavily, but his focus is the main reason I run him. And there's so many characters right now that are just removing it off of turn 1. So that is a big problem. Whereas this guy, he's going to be adding survivability to your most vulnerable characters and debuffing their most tanky ones. So I kind of like the combo there. I will say that if you do plan to get it, if you do get this character and you do plan to use him with a Guardian Shield in the same team, make sure you get the character who's got the Guardian Shield to try and get their Guardian Shield first off their specialist skill before you use his rush. That way you can get 4 Guardian Shields proc. If you do it the other way around, like I said previously, I think only 2 would proc. And that, honestly, the Guardian Shields to keep the attack team alive is the biggest draw for me personally, because I'm really struggling to keep my entire team alive on those attacks at the moment. But do give me your thoughts on Konrad. What do you think about his kit, his anti-tank capabilities, his keep your teammates alive capabilities as well? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. That is going to be the end of my video. I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.